evening. My name is Sal Todonia, and I am honored to be the Master of Ceremonies for Cherokee High School's 21st Annual Renaissance People's Choice Awards. Before we begin tonight's festivities, let's give a round of applause to Mr. Stoneman and the wonderful Cherokee Chamber Strings. Thank you. I would like to introduce members of Cherokee's Chamber Choir. They are performing our national anthem along with the presentation of the flags by our Junior Naval ROTC program under the command of Major Meehan and Chief Harvey. Would everyone please rise? You may be seated. Thank you, Cherokee's Chamber Choir. Honored guests with us tonight are Lenape Regional High School District's Assessment, Accountability, and Planning Coordinator, Dr. Justin Smith, our Principal of Cherokee High School North, Mrs. Charlesworth, our Principal of Cherokee High School South, Mr. Iannelli, Renaissance Coordinators, Mrs. Galambardo, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Kulo, Mrs. Marr, Ms. Coyle, as well as Cherokee High School administrators, teachers, and staff members, Cherokee's People's Choice Award recipients, your parents, families, and friends. Thank you for being a part of this very special evening, where we pause to celebrate some of Cherokee's finest students. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Charlesworth, our principal.
Welcome to the Lenape Regional High School District at Cherokee High School. On behalf of the administration and staff, we are delighted to have you here this evening to participate in our 21st Annual Renaissance People's Choice Awards. To our staff here tonight, thank you for working tirelessly in the shadows so our students can shine in the light. Your nominations tonight are just one of many examples that teaching is so much more than the delivery of instruction or the assessment of work. The relationships and bonds you build and sustain with your students are priceless, and we are so grateful for it. Tonight, we honor 77 students out of a student body of over 2,100 for standing out. Our students in attendance this evening are not solely here for their academic or extracurricular prowess. Tonight, they are honored for their optimistic attitudes, believing in themselves, succeeding, or for making a positive change. Congratulations are also in order for our families, who sit in the audience tonight with great anticipation, love in their hearts, and beaming with pride. So on behalf of the administration and faculty, welcome. It is truly a pleasure to see so many of you here this evening sharing this very special event with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Charlesworth. We are now pleased to represent this year's People's Choice Award recipients. Junior Michael Castellano will be introducing the award presenters.
Good evening. To begin the presentations of senior awards, our first presenter is Mr. Agnew.
Good evening. I'm very excited to announce that Christian Connolly is my People's Choice Award winner. We're always looking for students from our senior class to take leadership roles at Cherokee High School. Christian Connolly was one of the prominent leaders of the student sections at all athletic events this year. He, along with other members from the senior class, provided the excitement in our stands and bleachers for football games and girls and boys basketball games. Congratulations, Christian, on earning a People's Choice Award this year.
Our next presenter is Mr. Arnold.
Good evening. I am pleased to announce that my People's Choice Award recipient is Sam Patrizzi. Sam truly embodies what it means to be a chief. She has been involved in several clubs, played on several sports teams, and is a member of the National Honor Society and National Art Honor Society. She is an example of a well-rounded student who has taken advantage of the opportunities provided to her and has achieved great success. I could not think of a more deserving student to receive this honor. Sam Patrizzi.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Buchanan.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award nominee is Frances Agnew. Come on up, Frances. Frances's bright face and positive attitude endear him to staff and students alike. He brings this attitude and enthusiasm to every task as a student worker in the South Media Center. He has mastered so many new skills this year, and I am so appreciative of his hard work and effort. I look forward to having him in this week to work for me again. Thanks, Frances. Congratulations. Congratulations. Come on.
Our next presenter is Miss Bell.
For my award, I have decided to give it to Christina Oreo. I have had the pleasure of watching Christina Oreo grow into a strong, resilient woman over the past 4 years now. Christina is not only smart and athletic, she is kind, passionate, and always willing to help others. Her work ethic is second to none, and she is a leader both on the athletic field and in the classroom. Christina is the type of person that most people hope their daughters can be one day.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Blythe.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Melissa Zumbrum. Melissa has been volunteering her time in the North School store for 4 years here at Cherokee. She comes in every morning at 7:15 to help the students in the post-grad program prepare the store for the day. Melissa is patient and kind to all the students with special needs. Don't get me started. Melissa has been a Star Club Students Together for Autism Research Officer for 4 years. She has organized countless PALS events for me in her spare time. I will truly miss her, as will the students. Melissa, thank you for everything over the past 4 years.
Our next presenter is Mr. Booth.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award recipient is Michael Richter. Over the last 4 years, I've watched Michael grow into a confident, hardworking, and responsible young man. He has represented his family, school, and our wrestling program very well, both on and off the mat. I know that he will continue to do so as he moves on from Cherokee, and I look forward to following his continued success. Michael Richter.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Bretz.
My People's Choice Award this year goes to Megan O'Malley. Megan is the definition of a composed, confident, and caring young woman. In the short time that I have known her, I have seen her handle a trying situation with an innate grace and poise that would have been impressive in a person much older than Megan. Megan is aware of her place in the world and has plans to become a teacher and then a guidance counselor. I know without a doubt that any child lucky enough to work with Megan in the future will leave her classroom or office as a better person than when she entered. Megan O'Malley. I'm also reading on behalf of Mr. Callanan, and his People's Choice Award is Matthew Smith. Matt is a student who is not only one of the most diligent students academically, but he is also extremely kind. Matt takes care of Cherokee as a school and is also a valued member of the cross-country and track teams. He consistently has formed friendships and has worked with younger athletes and students to help them succeed. Matt does the right thing even when he does not know that someone is watching. It has been a great pleasure for Mr. Callanan to coach and work with Matt during his time at Cherokee. Congratulations, Matt.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Caputo.
My People's Choice recipient is Alyssa Nastasi. I've had the pleasure of knowing Alyssa since her freshman year, and I was impressed by her maturity and strength from the first day I met her. Life can throw us curveballs at times, and I've watched Alyssa handle every challenge that comes her way with grace and resilience. Alyssa's strong work ethic is evident in her academic success as well as her ability to balance the responsibilities of holding 2 jobs outside of school. I have no doubt Alyssa will be a success beyond Cherokee, and she deserves to be recognized and celebrated for all of her growth and hard work. Congrats, Alyssa.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Katana.
My People's Choice Award goes to Megan Hibbs. In Jacqueline Woodson's book, Each Kindness, the students toss pebbles into the water and watch the water ripple. Each kind act is a ripple going out into the world. Whether chatting about books in book club, collecting books for those in need, or just hanging out in the library guessing our weekly riddle, Megan showed kindness. Each kindness going out into our school, making it a great place to be.
Our next presenter is Mr. Sesnick.
Salwete. My selection for People's Choice is Angela Harris. Angela has exhibited a wonderful dedication to a language considered by many to be extinct. Her focus is on knowledge for the sake of knowledge. With her keen sense of empathy, she is the first to extend a hand to anyone in need. Over the past 4 years, Angela has helped not only the Latin language to come alive, but also every individual around her. Angela Harris.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Charlesworth.
My People's Choice Award goes to Chris Cato. When I think of Chris, I immediately think of optimism. He comes to school every day with a positive outlook that is contagious and endearing. He knows that every effort a person puts forth is a self-portrait of the person who did it. Chris, thank you for autographing your portrait here at Cherokee with excellence.
Our next presenter will be Mrs. Henry, reading for Miss Farrell.
Ms. Farrell, sorry she couldn't be here tonight, but I completely concur with her recipient, Emily Schloendorn. Emily is a hardworking student who cares about all of those around her. Emily came into Miss Farrell's classroom in the beginning of the school year and immediately told her she does not like math, but will absolutely be trying her best all school year, and she has done that exactly. Ms. Farrell looks forward to seeing what the future brings for Emily as she graduates Cherokee and moves on to college. Emily Schloendorn.
Our next presenter is Miss Flynn.
I'm so happy to say that my People's Choice Award goes to Hannah Chapin. Hannah is a diligent music student who has really excelled in piano class. She not only completes her work, but goes above and beyond what is assigned. Hannah is a fantastic role model for other students and musicians, and all in all, just a wonderful human being. Congratulations.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Forney.
My People's Choice recipient is Brian Sikowski. Brian exemplifies the exceptional quality of character that I would want my own children to have. His strengths go beyond academics and extracurricular activities. Brian demonstrates excellence through his quality of character, motivation, and work ethic. Collaborating with him over 4 years and watching him emerge as a mature young man with strength and perseverance has been an honor.
Our next presenter is Mr. Graziano.
Good evening. My selection for People's Choice Award is Mr. Knowledge Brown. Knowledge exudes the true definition of a gentleman. He shows qualities of leadership, integrity, perseverance, and is a natural mentor to his peers. He's a hardworking student with a great attitude and always comes to class neatly dressed with a bow tie and a smile on his face. In fact, if you'd like to, I'd like to end by saying that if anyone is looking to either enter into a collection of bow ties or expand their existing, this is the young man you'd like to connect with. Knowledge, thank you for being such a really great student.
Our next presenter is Mr. Haney.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Chris Panto. I've known Chris for 4 years. He came in every day his freshman year, ready to take on the world. That class was filled with excitement, partly because of him. He is a very enthusiastic person with a passion for life that I wish most people could experience. If I'm lucky enough, I hear Chris because he has this awesome way of getting my attention in the hall because I rarely see him since we're in different buildings. So I'm happy to introduce one amazing young man, Chris Panto.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Henry.
My People's Choice recipient is Natasha Watts. Natasha has long deserved to be honored, but she is far too often overlooked when it comes to recognition. Natasha is incredibly smart, creative, thoughtful, positive, helpful, and the epitome of well-rounded. She has been a member of the Scout newspaper all 4 years, and she has perhaps been our most reliable and conscientious member in that time. She brings the same enthusiasm and dedication to everything she does, and anyone who crosses her path in the future will do well to recognize her greatness. I know I have been blessed to be in the presence of it. Natasha Watts.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Herbert.
My People's Choice recipient is Evan Setterfield. I met Evan during the summer prior to his freshman year. I had taught his older sister Leah previously, and I couldn't wait to meet her younger brother. It wasn't long before Evan and I connected and were chatting about our families, pets, Disney, and our favorite characters. Evan brings a smile to my face whenever I see him, but it's time for us to share him now with the rest of the world. I'm so proud of you, Evan. Thanks for making the last 4 years magical.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Enamorado.
Good evening. My first People's Choice this year is Tyler Ludwikowski. Tyler, superheroes never give up. They get their jobs done, are the best at what they do, and are selfless and help others. Their real strength comes not from their powers, but from their character. Strong like the Hulk, resilient like Wolverine, and intelligent like Batman, our number 11, T. Lud, Tyler has already proven that he is a real-life hero. Tyler, you stand for everything that is good in this world, and I know that for the rest of your life, you will continue to inspire others, persevere, and remain loyal to those you love. My second People's Choice is John Kispolsky. I have had the pleasure and the privilege of getting to know Jen this year as her tutor. We start off our sessions talking about assigned literature, but our discussions quickly evolve into conversation about love, society, art, politics, history, music, and fashion. Each week, I look forward to spending time with Cherokee's own Renaissance woman. Multi-talented, unique, and insightful, Jen has big plans for her future. I know she will be successful as long as she is following her passion in the creative arts. Someday, Jen may be an art teacher, makeup artist, stylist, tattoo artist, or all of the above. But whatever she decides, she will be living her dream.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Kulo.
My People's Choice is Reed Coles. Reed is one of those students who comes to class every day, pays attention, volunteers an answer every once in a while, and works hard. So why get a People's Choice Award, you might ask? Reed is shy and reserved, but throughout the year I've gotten to know him and have discovered that he struggles with English, but he perseveres and is determined to succeed, which he is fantastically. Also, Reed was one of the few seniors who attended school every day that the seniors were in Florida, because he's striving for perfect attendance for all 4 years. This is an amazing feat few achieve. Congratulations, Reed, on being such a role model to others to follow.
Our next presenter is Mr. Lee.
Good evening. My 2018 People's Choice Award winner, Mr. Darnell Brown. Growth and fulfilling potential. These are the words that I have said over and over again to this young man. He's had his challenges in life, but Mr. Darnell Brown, if he chooses to, has the potential to do great things. Mr. Brown is a compassionate and engaging young man when he chooses to be. It truly has been a pleasure having our talks, Darnell. And I have a little gift for you. It's a package of straws. If you want to know about it, ask him later. Darnell Brown.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Lindquist.
My People's Choice winner this year is Caitlin Sharp. Kate has gone from being a shy, withdrawn freshman to a caring, confident senior. She has grown and matured more each and every year. Kate shows compassion and kindness in all her dealings with her classmates. She has embraced her leadership role and is there for anyone who needs her. Congratulations, Kate.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Mancinelli.
Character is defined by what we do when we think no one is looking. This quote sums up my 2018 People's Choice Award perfectly. Jack Walters is intelligent, athletic, a natural leader, but most importantly, he's genuine. What you see is what you get. His spirit is uplifting and his personality is contagious. He inspires everyone around him and will make the world a better place. Congrats, Jack.
Our next presenter is Mr. McMichael.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Mr. Charlie Kincaid. Most people probably have no idea of the trials that Charlie has already lived through in his young life. Suffice it to say that he has experienced things that are difficult even for us adults to overcome. He has done so with a smile on his face every day, without complaint, making excuses, or seeking pity. I'm so very proud of him for the strength and resilience he has shown, and therefore I'm happy to give him my People's Choice Award, Charlie Kincaid.
Our next presenter is Miss Meehan.
I am pleased to announce my People's Choice Award goes to Sean Keene. Sean Keene has worked tremendously hard throughout his 4 years at Cherokee. Sean has a true passion for persisting when others would have given up. He is always willing and ready to tackle a new task. He has and continues to surpass expectations of what it means to be a hardworking student. I am very proud of the young man he has become.
Our next presenter is Major Meehan.
It's hard to follow your daughter. My People's Choice nominee is Adrian Ramirez. Adrian was always the steady and calm hand behind all the Cherokee NJ ROTC tasks. He was always ready to lend a hand, and he never complained. I wish I had more students like him.
Our next presenter is Miss Miller.
My People's Choice Award goes to Dante Casella. 2 years ago, as a result of a change in my schedule, I became Dante's individual studies teacher. I couldn't be happier that the change occurred because it brought this wonderful young man into my life. Over the past 2 years, I've watched him grow academically and as a person, challenging himself with more difficult classes and really working hard to get where he is today. He is the student who seems to know everyone, but if he doesn't, he will go out of his way to get to know them and make them feel included. He has also been very involved in peer leaders and with the special education students, where he is able to put a smile on their faces and on mine. I will really miss D-Money next year, which is what he likes to call himself.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Milligan.
My People's Choice Award goes to Gia Hendricks. She is not able to come up onto the stage, but I'm going to read to her right now what I wrote. As a counselor, we have the fortune of seeing our students grow from 9th grade to 12th. Watching Gia's growth in the past 4 years has been truly remarkable. Though not always easy, but through significant introspection and hard work, Gia has become her true self. She has blossomed into a mature, confident, talented young woman whose future is extremely bright. I am so proud of you, Gia.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Malloy.
My People's Choice Award goes to Brianna Hamilton and Ben Johnson. Brianna and Ben are executive officers who have done an outstanding job this year leading our club. Brianna and Ben put a lot of thought and effort into meeting topics and developing presentations that are educational and enjoyable for our club members. They are so bright, so witty. They are true social justice warriors. I have enjoyed them tremendously this year. I'm inspired by their dedication to our club and will miss them so much next year, but wish them both well in college.
Our next presenter will be Miss Bell, speaking for Mrs. Moore.
I have the absolute pleasure of speaking on behalf of Mrs. Moore in announcing her People's Choice Award winner as Mackenzie Ogden. Mrs. Moore has gotten to know Mackenzie as both the manager of the field hockey team and a student in her probability and statistics class. She never fails to brighten Mrs. Moore's day. Mackenzie always has a positive attitude and makes people laugh wherever she goes. Cherokee will not be the same without her.
Our next presenter is Mr. Oriole.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award winner is John Pepitone. John's path through high school has been a bumpy one, but he kept on track and overcame every obstacle that life threw at him. He's always been a respectful and nice person, but he's leaving Cherokee as a man who possesses a level of character that few of his peers can match. I'm proud of John and what he has accomplished over the past 4 years, and I'm glad he has the opportunity to be recognized by being my People's Choice Award winner. Congrats, Johnny.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Ormsby.
Good evening. This year, my People's Choice Award goes to Cameron Vincent. Cameron has been a dedicated DECA member for the past 3 years, and at the state competition this past February, Cameron became only the second Cherokee student to ever qualify to compete at the international level. However, over spring break and before our trip to the international competition in Atlanta, Cameron broke his foot. Throughout the entire trip, Cameron did not complain once. Whether he was waiting for a wheelchair in the airport, trekking through the rain to the convention center, or crutching his way through his competition, Cameron did not let his injury get in the way of getting the full ICDC experience. For his dedication to DECA and his unwavering positivity, I am proud to give Cameron my People's Choice Award.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Politis.
Good evening. My People's Choice recipient is Megan Waninger. Whenever Class 4 begins in the morning wheel, and it's the 7:30 a.m. one, Megan is always the one running with the Dunkin' Donuts in one hand and about 28 books in the other. But every time she does come in, even though it might be just barely at the bell or a bit afterwards, she always has a smile on her face. Always looking at the bright side of things is a quality that we sometimes undervalue, but she proves just how important it truly is. It's been a joy to have you in class all year, Megan.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Polverenti.
We are so lucky at Cherokee. We have so many wonderful kids that it is hard to choose just one, so I chose two. I am so proud of my People's Choice Award winners, Louis Marisi and Andrew Thompson. Louis, your quiet determination and devotion to excellence have often been an oasis of calm in my sometimes chaotic day. You always give everything your best shot, and if you think no one was noticing, believe me, I was. You are proof of the old adage that still waters run deep, and not for nothing, Louis, you have one of the sweetest smiles I have ever seen. Andrew, your exuberant high fives, fist bumps, and declarations that we can do this have brightened my mornings. You bring excitement of the good kind to my classroom. But underneath that high voltage personality, I know that there is also a serious, thoughtful, and insightful mind and a desire deep in your heart to be the best you can be. And I think you succeed. And I'm not done. Gentlemen, you are just beginning a great journey, and I know that like Tennyson's Ulysses, you will continue to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. May the paths you take be eventful and rewarding, and may all your adventures be pleasant ones. And because you each have a strong and steady moral compass, I know you will both always find your way home. All right.
Our next presenter is Miss Ratkiss.
My People's Choice goes to Dylan Bailey. Dylan embodies everything that is the people's choice. He earns amazing grades, consistently takes measures to improve himself, takes on new challenges, is a role model for his peers, and works incredibly hard. Dylan wanted to achieve excellence and fluency in Italian. He was one of only 4 students to take Italian 4 over the summer and then jump into AP by his senior year. He has worked tirelessly to bridge the gap and recently earned the biliteracy seal, thus proving his high level of excellence. Even more than academic success is his positive attitude, zest for knowledge, and charismatic personality that truly make him a well-rounded dream student. Felicitazioni, Dylan.
Our next presenter is Miss Rella.
Hello. My award goes to Lana Tonzello. In the past 3 years here at Cherokee, I have had the pleasure of knowing Lana. She demonstrates qualities like leadership and work ethic, both in the classroom and on the athletic fields. There is no doubt that her outgoing personality and dedication to becoming successful will take her far in life. She is the true definition of what it means to bleed orange.
Our next presenter is Miss Rodenheiser.
Buenas noches. Hola. I was very blessed this year, and I had some of the most unbelievable students in my Spanish 5 classes. So I couldn't pick 1 or 2, I picked 3. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to deal with me for a while. So, no in particular order at all, Alaina Santa Croce is my first choice award. It has been a privilege to have Alaina in my class this year and watch her balance school, her volleyball responsibilities, and work. Alaina is motivated, enthusiastic, and a very organized student. She always wants to know more. It has been a blessing to be able to learn from her day after day. I am sure that with her inquisitive mind, high sense of responsibility, and hard work ethics, she will reach any goal she sets for herself. Alaina, I will miss you so much, and I wish you the best at Rowan next year. Melanie Homberger. Probably messed up the last name. When I think about Melanie, her strong character comes to mind. Melanie does not allow any obstacle to stop her from achieving her goals. Melanie, your dedication, perseverance, endurance, determination, and hard work have been an example for your peers and an inspiration for me. Congratulations. I wish you the best at Drexel. And Genesis, Esteliga. Genesis represents today's modern women, one who embraces life and all its challenges with courage, strength, dignity, and grace. I could not be prouder for all you have accomplished this year, not just in my Spanish class, but in life. All the responsibilities you have taken when necessary and for always knowing where your priorities are. Thank you for being my inspiration all year.
Our next presenter is Dr. Smith.
My People's Choice Award winner is Rashna Thirathouvados. A girl with speed and smarts cut between defenders, then slotted the ball into the corner of the net. That scene replayed game after game some 10 years ago. To talk with that player for even a moment was to think, This girl is going to do great things. Intelligence, kindness, work ethic, all in abundance, and how wonderful to get to see those great things happening. Your many accomplishments coming into being, Rashna. Your parents, your sister, your school, your district, and me, Coach Justin, couldn't be prouder of you and can't wait to see all you will achieve as you head off to Johns Hopkins in pre-med and continue to make such a difference in the world.
Our next presenter is Mr. Stoneman.
My People's Choice recipient is Alexis Hartman. In the 3 years that I have known Alexis, I have seen her grow from an enthusiastic yet timid musician to a leader in the music program at Cherokee. Alexis has been involved with the orchestra, wind ensemble, choir, and marching band. Not many students can put all of that on their resume, and even fewer can claim they have performed at a superior level in all of those settings. Alexis has earned that recognition.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Tritch.
My People's Choice goes to Diana Wood. Creative, smart, outgoing, resilient, compassionate, focused, genuine, and mature beyond her years. The positive adjectives are endless to describe this person. She has a way of making everyone in the classroom feel special and included. I will miss her greatly next year, but I know she is following her dreams and will be a success in all she does. Diana Wood, thank you for being you and making my classroom that much brighter these last 2 years. All the best. Yay.
Our last senior award presenter is Mrs. Zachariah.
Sean Tenser is my People's Choice recipient. Because of his character, he is considerate, respectful, polite, and has an awesome attitude. He is also incredibly dependable. Sean has been a member of the Yearbook Business Managers Club for the last 3 years and is someone I can always count on. I wish you the best, and I will miss you.
Our first junior award presenter is Mrs. Castor.
My People's Choice for 2018 is Kira Reiser. Kira is an incredibly thoughtful, patient, creative, and determined student, always asking questions to better her skills and to submit assignments of which she is proud. She overcomes obstacles with poise and incredible self-awareness, making her ready to handle anything that comes her way. But most importantly, Kira is kind-hearted, compassionate individual who deeply cares for those around her and puts others first. She is the type of young lady that makes Cherokee and our community a better, brighter place.
Our next presenter is Mrs. DeMedio.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award recipient is Gabrielle Marashi. It has been a pleasure watching Gabrielle mature into the young woman she is today. Her strength to overcome obstacles and maintain a positive attitude is admirable. Gabrielle possesses strong core values and cares deeply about family and friends. Her resiliency is inspiring. Congratulations, Gab.
Our next presenter is Ms. Finan.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Luciano Pizarro. Luch is an incredibly driven and hardworking individual. Over the past 2 years, I have watched him challenge himself and learn from his experiences. He has a vision of where he wants to go in life, and he has the drive to get there. Not only is he driven, but Luch approaches life with humor and a smile. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Congrats.
Our next presenter is Miss Hillian.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Jordan Stafford. When the Dance and Step Club was about to prepare for our performance at the pep rally, it wasn't clear who would be the choreographer. Jordan Stafford stepped up to the plate and volunteered to create a dance routine and then patiently taught it. She not only dances very well, but she also presents herself in a positive, mature manner. Jordan is a kind-hearted young lady with a sweet spirit and warm smile who is very committed to doing her best and to bringing out the best in others. Jordan.
Our next presenter is Mr. Ivory.
Good evening. My People's Choice recipient is Orly Smith. I can do it. Orly Smith is such an outstanding student. She always goes above and beyond what is ever asked of her. And as president of the German Honor Society, she has distinguished herself as a model student leader. She is also a model citizen. I am impressed by her work promoting social justice. I consider her a model student, a model leader, and a model citizen.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Johnson.
Oops. Bonsoir. My nominee for this year's People's Choice Award goes to Thomas Vasallo. So imagine this. It's September, and my new French 3 class walks into my room wondering what to expect from this fun-loving, sometimes crazy teacher they've never met before. After a few days, we quickly get to know each other, and I realize the passion this entire class has for learning French. We embrace each other's personalities, and after a few days, I begin to notice this extremely shy, yet so smart, blonde Thomas Vasallo. Thomas is like a sponge. He absorbs as much of the French language as possible, and he retains it all. It's simply amazing. He has that certain je ne sais quoi, and is my super Frenchman in class. He's the go-to man and shining star. I have even gotten to see him laugh, snicker, and even from time to time, he doesn't blush. So félicitations, Thomas.
Our next presenter is Mrs. McGarity.
My People's Choice Award goes to Nancy Tan. Nancy is an inquisitive, creative, and empathetic young lady who works very hard in and out of school to develop her academic and artistic skills. It has been my privilege to witness her acts of kindness, such as accompanying a fellow ESL student to the prom or translating English to Chinese for a fellow English language learner. Smart and visionary, this future fashion designer will surely make one savvy, bilingual businesswoman. Miss Nancy Tan has my utmost respect.
Our next presenter is Mr. McKay.
Thank you, Mac.
You're welcome.
Right back at you. My People's Choice nominee this year is Elizabeth Ferris. There are two words that come to mind when describing Elizabeth: determined and respectful. Elizabeth came to me in the beginning of the year asking how she can get better at mastering content for U.S. history. Along the way, you have shown significant progress as well as being respectful to yourself, your peers, and to me. Keep striving for greatness and never let up. Congratulations, Elizabeth.
Our next presenter is Mr. Niederberger.
Good evening. My People's Choice nominee is Maggie Hamilton. Maggie is a lacrosse player that recently tore her ACL and her MCL while competing in a lacrosse game against Moorestown. Since that injury, she has had such a positive attitude and has been so supportive of her teammates. She also volunteers and coaches for a 5th and 6th grade lacrosse team. The reason for this nomination is that she has been a great example of how to persevere through adversity to a lacrosse team of preteen girls that she continues to coach while she's on crutches. My People's Choice, Maggie Hamilton.
Our next presenter is Mr. Walsh.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award winner is Andrew Palmer. Andrew Palmer might be the most well-rounded student I've ever taught. He retains vast amounts of content knowledge on tests, constructs well-thought-out arguments and essays, and competitive debates, and he has the courage to volunteer and participate in every single classroom occasion. What is even more impressive is that Andrew is such a high-quality social studies student, and he is also a great swimmer who is going to go to college one day for engineering. As teachers, we are supposed to have goals, objectives, and standards for our students. But as a father of 2 young boys, I look at the young man Andrew's become, and I say to myself, he is a standard that I should aim for while raising my sons.
Our last junior award presenter is Mrs. Wood.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to David Jackson. I have had the honor and privilege to know David for 3 years now. David is a quiet, unassuming, and brilliant young man who would prefer to just blend in and not stand out. However, to me, David, you definitely stand out. David is academically gifted, yet never puts on airs. David is always polite, respectful, and humble towards myself and his classmates. Mature well beyond his years, I know David is destined for great things. David Jackson.
Our first sophomore award presenter is Mr. Belleville.
It's my pleasure to announce my People's Choice recipient, Isaiah Butler. My People's Choice recipient is an amazing young man. I've had the privilege to watch him develop into a mature, responsible young man that in a moment will walk across this stage. I have had great conversations with him over the past 2 years, and I hope that he continues to visit me when he moves north next year. Isaiah Butler, I am grateful to be part of your journey into adulthood.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Berner.
My People's Choice Award recipient is Miss Alexis Chirby. Alexis Chirby speaks her mind. In a sea of timid and reluctant classmates this year, she has repeatedly spoken up and voiced all the insightful and sometimes vulnerable things that no one else will. She is a game changer in the very best way. Her written voice on the page and her spoken voice in the classroom reveal her remarkable attributes: empathy, humor, passion, and intelligence. William Wordsworth once wrote, "Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart." And Alexis, you already do. Congratulations.
Our next presenter is Mr. Ciancito.
My 2018 People's Choice Award goes to Icon Morissette. Since I met Icon the first couple weeks of his freshman year, he has stood out as one of the most reflective, humble, and loyal students I have ever had a privilege to work with at Cherokee High School. Icon embodies all of the character traits that we as a school community preach: accountability, integrity, respect, being an upstander, and being that voice for peers that have a difficult time finding their own. Icon, even as a sophomore, I can't think of anyone more deserving of this award. Congratulations.
Our next presenter is Mr. Coyle.
This year is a scary year for me as a teacher because I'm losing all of my first students who will be graduating this summer. These are the students who have defined my experience here at Cherokee, and I worry how that experience and my program may change once they leave. I feel reassured, however, when I think about my 2018 People's Choice nominee and how wonderful she is as a student and as a leader. Natalie Cataldo is one of only 2 sophomores who were found to be knowledgeable and responsible enough to take on the task of becoming an art club group leader. She will surely help to form the new backbone of the program. Natalie is always on top of her game, she never misses a deadline in class, and above all else is a genuine pleasure to be around. I am so thankful that I have her to help form a new core of great young artists here at Cherokee High School. Natalie Cataldo.
Our next presenter is Mr. Dilks.
Good evening. My People's Choice recipient is Cameron Dockery. Cameron is always upbeat and optimistic. He is mature beyond his years and displays advanced interpersonal and leadership skills in my biology class. But what's most impressive to me is how Cameron does the right thing even when no one is looking. But since that's been said about 4 times tonight, I want to tell you that he is somebody you can never go wrong doing the right thing, and Cameron, you have the strength to do that. Congratulations.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Galimbardo.
Buenas noches. My People's Choice recipient is Morgan White. Eager, motivated, positive, relentless, dependable, and responsible are all descriptors that characterize my People's Choice nominee, Morgan White. Morgan accepted the challenge to move up a level after Spanish 1 and entered a class in September filled with uncertainty and trepidation. As she slowly but surely built up her confidence, Morgan came to the realization that she could succeed and has earned a solid B in Spanish all year. Morgan, I'm very proud of all of your accomplishments and of the example that you have set for others that one can accomplish anything with dedication and hard work. Te quiero mucho. Gracias.
Our next presenter is Mr. Glatz.
My People's Choice Award goes to Darius Warzinski. Darius is a pleasure to have in my honors geometry class. He is always upbeat and willing to challenge himself. He helps raise the level of those around him and is a leader in the classroom. As a side note, he can also solve a Rubik's Cube in under 40 seconds. It's pretty good. So, Darius Warziniak.
Our next presenter is Mr. Hovemeyer.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award goes to Tyler Kalkutsky. Tyler is a pleasure to have in class. She is engaged, hardworking, respectful, and during every class discussion, Tyler offers valuable, thought-provoking ideas and insight. She is also always willing to help a fellow student with any aspect of school or work. Tyler is a student who I have been honored to have in class. Tyler, I will miss you next year, but I have no doubt you will succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Kalkutsky.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Marone.
My People's Choice recipient is Sammy Quattrosauce. Every day, Samantha impresses me with her desire to succeed and commitment to excellence. She is a determined young lady on a mission, and nothing will stop her unless she starts laughing. May you never run out of erasers.
Our next presenter is Mr. New.
Good evening. My People's Choice nominee is Mr. Ryan Block. Ryan is a young man who possesses character traits that go above and beyond many high school students his age. He is an extremely hard worker and has set many goals he hopes to accomplish in the near future. He works every night and weekends umpiring baseball games and officiating soccer games for the Marlton Rec Council. I look forward to seeing him throughout the summer behind the plate. He has an extremely bright future in front of him. Ryan Block.
Our last sophomore award presenter is Mrs. Wood.
My People's Choice Award is Caitlin Quinn. I've had the pleasure of having Kate for the last 2 years, and for the last 2 years, Kate has shown me that she is a hardworking, kind-hearted student. She is always volunteering to help me in class, and she always says hello to me in the hallway. It's a small gesture that really makes each of my days a little better. Thank you, Kate.
Our first freshman award presenter is Mr. Iannelli.
Good evening. David Graw is my People's Choice Award recipient. David never misses an opportunity to stop me in the hallway and engage me in conversation. In every encounter I've had with him, my spirits are lifted and my day is brighter. He is kind, courteous, and respectful. I am proud of him and I wish him well in the future, and your parents should be very proud of you, David. Best of luck to you, buddy.
Our next presenter is Mr. Fortunato.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award recipient is Aiden Yates. Throughout this school year, Aiden has proven himself to be an accountable, personable, enthusiastic, and ultimately respectful young man. Whenever I see him pass by in the hallway or enter the classroom, he always says a friendly and sincere hello and genuinely asks how things are going. I admire the maturity he displays and the consideration and respect that he shows towards others, as he is always willing to collaborate with his peers make meaningful connections with those around him, and engage in class discussions and activities. Though I am upset that he will be moving out of state this summer, and he will no longer be a Cherokee student, I am certain that he will maintain his optimistic outlook and demonstrate the core values which he so clearly embodies, those of accountability, integrity, and respect at all times to all individuals. Aiden Yates.
Our next presenter is Chief Harvey.
Good evening. My People's Choice Award winner is Eugene Kim. Intense, dedicated, and resourceful, this young man immediately made an impression on me by volunteering for every NJROTC community service event, after-school activity, and his strong desire to be a part of the drill team. In addition, he also has the highest GPA, 99.7, of all 42 first-year cadets. I'm extremely proud to present Eugene Kim as my 2018 Renaissance People's Choice Award.
Our next presenter is Miss Latini.
My People's Choice Award goes to Alana Ludwikowski. Throughout the course of the year, Alana has demonstrated many characteristics that make her a remarkable young lady. She is hardworking, polite, and will be the first to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. It has been such a pleasure helping her transition to high school and watching her succeed in her academics.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Marr.
My 2018 People's Choice winner is Cassidy Tomacheski. Throughout this school year, I have had the pleasure of teaching Cassidy in accounting. She is only a freshman, but has demonstrated a maturity beyond her years. Cassidy is polite, extremely intelligent, and just a truly special individual. I am honored to present her with the People's Choice Award this year.
Our next presenter is Miss Mayer.
Good evening. My recipient this evening is Jillian Todd. Jillian has a drive to succeed that is truly noteworthy. She's fastidious about getting her work done to perfection and does everything in her power to understand every idea, every concept, every piece of literature she encounters, while working at demonstrating this grasp with articulate, focused writing. Whatever it takes to get it, Jilly does. Whether it entails coming in for a chat after school, during lunch and learn, or spending more time at home working, Jilly takes it all on with a drive that's admirable. Congratulations, Jilly. You beasted it.
Our last freshman award presenter is Miss Packer.
Hello. My People's Choice Award winner is Olivia Demler. Olivia is a caring and compassionate young lady. She comes to class every day willing to work hard and brightens my day in the process. Olivia is dependable, and I know that I can count on her for anything. Her positive qualities are endless, and she is a true example of what it means to be a chief. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Packer. Let's show our appreciation for our 2018 People's Choice Award recipients. purchase a copy of tonight's awards ceremony, please visit chieftv.org. I would now like to ask Cherokee South Principal, Mr. Iannelli, to come back for a few final comments.
I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for coming to the 2018 People's Choice Awards sponsored by Renaissance. Again, special thanks to the tireless efforts of the Renaissance advisors throughout the year. This event has come to be very special in the hearts and minds of the faculty, students, and the parents because it gives us the opportunity to honor those who have gone the extra mile to make our school a better place. Students, it is obvious that you're making positive decisions as evidenced by your being award winner tonight. I urge you to continue to make good decisions. Defy the issue. Also, I want each of you to embrace Cherokee's core values of accountability, integrity, and respect. In closing, I would also like to send out a word of praise to all the parents who have done such a great job of raising such wonderful kids. Please join me, students, in a round of applause for your parents and family members. This concludes our program. Please drive safely. Thank you.